But Mark, let's move into our final topic, and this one is actually a viewer-requested topic. On our mock draft, the 1st through 10 picks, we got a comment from Jason Motter who said, can you guys talk about the Bucs in the next mock? Well, guess what, Jason? You don't have to wait until the next mock. We are going to talk about it right here. Mark, I'm going to ask you plain and simple.
Yep.
Who should the Bucs take with the 7th pick? What position should they go with? Who should they pick at number 7 to be the best pick for them?
I think this is a great spot for them to be in because the Bucs are going to have pretty much any option that they could need. There will be some people out there who are going to maybe say the Bucs be the first team that jumps on a wide receiver. They don't need wide receiver, but only because they didn't get the production that they expected, and they want to just do anything to help Jameis Winston. Those people, I think, need to calm down a little bit because the Bucs have so many options. They could go potentially with Minkah Fitzpatrick if he's there. If he's not, maybe Denzel Ward will be there. They could go with Tremaine Edmonds. They could maybe, it's not going to happen, don't get excited, maybe Bradley Chubb could fall. You know,
I was going to bring up another one that's not going to happen because I believe I'd have to double check. I thought I saw on ESPN on the ticker that they released the muscle hamster in Doug Martin. What if Saquon magically fell? Could you imagine if Saquon fell? No, I'm not saying he will. But could you imagine if Saquon fell 2-7 and the Bucs got him?
That'd be crazy.
And the Bucs got Saquon. You basically release the muscle hamster to get Saquon Barkley. Yet again, like your Bradley Chubb. I don't think it happens, but I was going to throw that one out there.
But it would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's one of these interesting things because the offense should be great. It's that defense that is certainly going to be the concern. You would hope that they would go for an edge rusher, a pass rusher. That's going to be like that number one thing that's needed. Gerald McCoy could use some help. I mean, I love McCoy. He's one of my favorite defensive players in the NFL. And I would love to see some more help for getting to the quarterback because, you know, there are some good quarterbacks in the NFC South. I don't know if you know that. But there's some really good ones. But at the same time, you know, sure, running back will be one, but I think they're going to try and address that hopefully during free agency. The defensive back certainly could use something. Pretty much almost anything on defense is going to be helpful for the Buccaneers. I don't think you go offense. I really think that defense is the way to go here.
You know what? I'm sitting here thinking, and my mock, there's 3 players that I can kind of think of that would be the top. I'll give you my top 3, then I'll give you who I think the main pick should be. My top 3 would be, if I am a Bucs fan, I am hoping for either Minkah Fitzpatrick, Tremaine Edmonds, or for some God-forbidden reason that Bradley Chubb falls to us. Whether there's trades that go on and that lets Chubb fall or anything, I'm hoping for those guys. Or he smokes a
bong before.
Laramie Tunsil style. However, the one that I think will work the best, as of right now, yet again, free agency has not happened yet. Things can change, but as of right now, when I look at the Buccaneer roster, the thing I look at, and I mean, with Minkah Fitzpatrick, he's a guy that we were kind of talking about this with Jalen Ramsey too. Although Jalen Ramsey is a corner right now in the NFL, he was a guy, the big thing we harped on was his versatility. Could play safety, could play corner. Same thing with Minkah Fitzpatrick. It's why we have him listed as a defensive back and not just cornerback, not just as a safety. The thing I look at with the Bucs too is who right now do they have as restricted or as free agents? I don't know why I keep going NBA and restricted, but you got both TJ Ward and Brent Grimes as free agents. If I'm the Bucs, I know that if you re-sign Brent Grimes, that, okay, maybe Minkah's not the best pick, but as of right now, I would almost lean towards, hey, you know what? We got Vernon Hargreaves, Florida guy. Let's let Grimes walk. Let's not pay him what he wants. Let's go with a cheaper option right now. A younger option could be a better option. Let's pair Vernon Hargreaves up with Minkah Fitzpatrick and have those two guys be our corners, bring back maybe TJ Ward then out of the two. That's where I would sit right now. Minkah Fitzpatrick would be the guy I hope for. However, if you looked at my mock, it didn't end up that way. Browns went with Minkah with me. That's why the Bucs have to go pass rusher. So with me, going with the corner first, if that's off the board, basically if Minkah's off the board, I'm sorry, Denzel Ward, I'm not reaching for you. I'll take either an Edmonds or a Chubb or a pass rusher there at 7.
Yeah, I just think that when you look at it, I don't think that that Denzel Ward is going to be as crazy of a reach as some people are going to say. Only because if Minkah's gone, basically if the quarterbacks didn't go, Minkah will be gone. Edmonds might have snuck his way up into the top 10, so there's a chance that he'll be gone. Denzel Ward might honestly be your best option because there's no way you're getting Chubb. I don't think that it's as big of a reach necessarily. I mean, my last mock draft, I had him going to the Chicago Bears at number 8.
Yeah.
So certainly not too big of a reach there. I think for the Buccaneers, they are one of those teams that, I mean, any team, of course, free agency is going to matter a lot, but they're one of those teams where free agency is really going to tip their hat of what they are going to kind of aim at for the draft. If they go really heavy at the defensive backs, if they make a big push to get some pass rushers, that's going to kind of show what they expect teams ahead of them to do and what they think they're going to do at number 7, because they can surprise the world and just end up saying, all right, well, let's go for some offensive line or something. Not a top need for them at all, but if they really try and address the defense during free agency, they might go a less expected route. And do I think that's a good idea? Do I think that's worth doing? No. I think that they have so many great young, talented players on the defensive side of the ball that that's the way to go. With the flip side, too, of even if you, are going to re-sign TJ Ward or Grimes or whatever it might be, you can still get another defensive back and just have extra depth. You can play nickel now. You have a lot of flexibility with what you can do, and keeping players fresh as well is going to be helpful.
And I wanted to throw that out there too, because I was kind of searching a little bit after I said that, and really I'm looking at an article right here. It says Bucs want, this is from the first of the year, Bucs want Brent Grimes to return for 2018, whereas Cotter had said, I've tried to give him a sell job this morning. I told him we would love to have him back. I think Brent defies his real age, and there have been other guys around the league that have been able to do that. He's a free agent, so he's in control of it, but we'd love to have him back. And I told him that. And then the article says, in some way, the reaction to this revelation, the Buccaneers want their best cornerback to come back next year. So, I mean, I would almost say if Brent Grimes does come back, I'd still go Minkah Fitzpatrick if I'm the Bucs. I would still, if he's there, I would still go there. And the thing that I love most about, if I was a Buck fan, the thing I would love most about where you are in the draft is one of your two needs, because right now the biggest needs for the Buccaneers, defensive end, running back, cornerback. The only one of those you're not going to get is a running back, because I just don't see Saquon going past 4.
Yeah.
Saquon is either going to be a Brown via 1 or 4, a Giant, or a Colt. He's not getting past any of those 3 teams with the first 4 picks. Then you look after those three teams. The Denver Broncos, they don't really need a Minkah Fitzpatrick. They don't need a Tremaine Edmonds. They really need a quarterback. Like, Denver needs quarterback.
Which they might get in free agency.
Which they could get in free agency, but let's say they do get a Kirk Cousins, because that's the one where monkey in the room or elephant in the room we're talking about. If they get Kirk Cousins, they're going offensive tackle. They're going with a guy to protect Kirk Cousins then at number 5. I would see a guy like Quentin Nelson then being the pick for the Denver Broncos. Then with the Jets, main thing they need is quarterback. Other than that, they need a running back who's not going to be there. They're in the same boat with you in that, or a guy to protect said quarterback. Now, the Jets could be the only wild card here and go BPA. However, I would think the Jets would not pass up on a quarterback no matter which of the 5 you get. Like, somebody's going to be there, whether it's Darnold, whether it's Rosen, whether it's Baker, whether it's Allen. And the thing that I want to ask you really quick, this is off the cuff and away from the Bucs, but really quickly, what do you think of the nickname that people are already giving Baker Mayfield if he goes to the Jets, the Broadway Baker? It just doesn't ring. It doesn't ring with you either, because I was like, really? We're doing the Broadway Joe thing?
Yeah, to me it feels forced. And Broadway Baker...
I don't like it.
No, it doesn't do it for me.
Back to the Bucs, though. My point is, the teams above you are probably not going to impact what you need. Minka, you could be sitting there. The best case scenario for the Bucs, you're sitting there at 7. Minka and Tremaine Edmonds are both on the board. Who do you go with?
Yeah.
Whether Grimes comes back or not, I still go Minka because, the one thing I read in the articles, he defies his age right now. He was 33 this year. If you sign him to, let's say, a 2-year contract yet again, you're going to get him 34, 35. I'm not paying you much past that. Plus, if anything does happen this year to Grimes because of his age, then you can say we've got this young corner to lean on, and Hargraves and Fitzpatrick are the future 1-2 on our corners.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't see any issue with re-signing players and then drafting more. It's certainly going to work out for long-term situations. It's something that's necessary. And just the simple fact that you're going to play some great quarterbacks in the NFC South. There's nothing wrong with having another talented player and being able to go into a nickel set so that way you can defend against pass-happy teams like, I don't know, Drew Brees and the Saints.
I got a question for you. And this is based off of Mel Kiper's mock draft.
Sure.
Because I was telling you today, Mel Kiper dropped his 2.0. Completely confuses me.
Okay.
Because the main thing I look at is Josh Rosen, 11. Falls all the way to 11. I think that these quarterbacks are going to go like hot potatoes this year, and they're just going to be, you get a quarterback, you get a quarterback, you get a quarterback. Let's say this scenario pans out. Josh Rosen is there at 7. If Josh Rosen is on the board at 7, and you're the Buccaneers, do you still, let's say Minka and Tremaine Edmonds are on the board. So you have Edmonds, you've got Minka, you've got Rosen on the board. You're now the GM. Congratulations for being the GM of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Mark.
Thank you. It's a very nice place to be.
Who do you go with? Do you go with Minka Fitzpatrick still? Do you go with a Tremaine Edmonds? Or do you go with option C? And because Rosen's on the board, you pick up that phone, which is right here, and you call the Arizona Cardinals to see if they want to make a deal to get Josh Rosen.
Let me think about that.
Because really, that'd be the team you look. The next team that would need a quarterback would be 15. I don't even think the Dolphins would take a quarterback.
No, I don't think.
And they wouldn't trade up.
It's scary because the Chicago Bears could use defensive backs and pass rushers. The 49ers.
But that's not playing into your decision, right? You ain't going with that bias, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay.
I'm saying if I'm trading back to 15.
Okay.
I'm looking at the Chicago Bears going to need that. The 49ers could use a lot of defensive help as well, especially corner. Raiders, I don't know. They might not. Then the Redskins, they could use some defensive line. So could the Packers. I'm not making that trade. I'm not going to get the players I need.
If I'm going off of my mock draft for myself, to make that trade at 15, it would depend on what you would get for it to jump up from 15 to 7. A similar thing would be, and I would have to look to see exactly how far they jumped, but I believe we saw similar moves last year with the Chiefs jumping up to get their quarterback, and then also the Texans jumping up, because that would
and
be...
I believe both teams gave up multiple firsts.
Yes, they did. So let's see. From 15, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots to move up that far. I believe the Chiefs and the Bills were, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was more than 7 for the Chiefs and the Bills one. It would depend on what you'd get. If you'd get 2 firsts out of the deal, I would almost take that, because
depends how high you are on a guy like Fitzpatrick or Tremaine Edmonds.
I mean, with me, I wouldn't for sure say yes, done deal, but I would severely think about making that if I'm getting at the least 2 firsts for that 7. Because if I'm going off of my mock draft that we just did, the 3.0, that means at 15, I'm having a pick between the free guys that would be on my board. Would be, if I wanted to go cornerback, I'd go Mike Hughes from Central Florida. If I wanted to go pass rusher, I could go with a guy like Harold Landry. Or if you're sitting there, and this is a big thing, if you're sitting there and you're like, you know what? I don't want to worry about the defense right now. We just released Doug Martin. We didn't get a running back in free agency. Let's make this deal with the Cardinals. Let's get at least 2 firsts out of the deal. Maybe 2 firsts at the least, but if I can get 2 firsts and then like 1 later pick either this year or next year, just to sweeten the deal. And then at 15, go with a guy like Darius Geis. Get my running back. Get a running back at 15, because at 15, I can pick him more so there than severely reaching, and taking Darius Geis at 7 overall.
Still think it's kind of a reach at 15. I strongly believe he would be there in the second round for you, so I don't think you need. With the exception of maybe if the Colts didn't get there.
Kuiper had him going in the 20th overall. Both you and I did not have Geis in the top 32.
Yeah, I just think that's a little... Trading back to 15, you're going to miss out on the top guys that you would want. Sure, having more first-round picks is nice, but at the same time, Arizona Cardinals are at one of those teams where they are poised for success. So those first-round picks are not going to be top 10 picks. Those first-round picks will be playoff type
and you're
of
giving
picks.
them a quarterback who could boost them up into maybe fighting for a division, fighting for a wild card spot.
Exactly. So I don't know. It makes me nervous to make that, only because I need a pass rusher now. I need a defensive back, not necessarily now, but I might need him now depending on what I do free agency wise. So I think I would be reluctant to make that trade. I'm not saying no to it. I just think I would be reluctant.
Well, and the one thing I do reference, that 15 for Darius Geis, right in the range for Brandon Swanson, because on the big board, he had Darius right there at 17. I did not have Darius Geis in my top 25 for the big board. But talking about the Bucs, what are your final thoughts? Final thoughts on the Bucs at 7. What should they do? Pick, trade, your final one. What do they do?
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason really to make the trade. Because, like I said, I think you're going to miss out on too many of these good players that you really want.
What would be the ultimate price to say, fine, I have to make this deal? I have to push the button and make this trade.
I don't really know. I think there would have to be some surprises in the picks ahead of you, to where some of those defensive players are.
What if
falling.
you get a veteran pass rusher out of it? Veteran pass rusher in the 15th overall
could be nice.
I mean,
I'm
not saying
if you would
yet again the Cardinals, but what if another team that really liked Rosen was like, "Hey, we'll give we'll scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. We'll give you a corner or a defensive end veteran. We'll give you our first for your 7." That's another option that they could go. But I would make the pick. I would go Minkah Fitzpatrick. What about you?
Yeah, I would love for them to have Fitzpatrick. Edmonds is a good option as well. But
He's my
Fitzpatrick, I love having Fitzpatrick to the Bucs.
Well, and if you look at our mock draft, both of us had both of those two going to the Bucs. You had Fitzpatrick at number 7. I had Tremaine Edmonds only because Minkah Fitzpatrick was off the board, went to the Browns at number 4. This is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below. Who should the Bucs target? Bucs fans, I want to hear from you. What's your perfect pick? The perfect one. You get this guy at number 7. You're dancing on the table. You are excited to have him in a Buccaneer uniform. Who is that? Let us know down below in the comment section. Want to thank you guys for watching and listening to this week's podcast. A little housekeeping here at the end. Yet again, you like what we're doing, want to support us, check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. $1 get you an exclusive podcast that you can get each and every month. A podcast just like this, just for $1. Also, if you want an MVP t-shirt, go and check out the store. That link is also in the description. Make sure to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. It would mean the world to us. Bookmark mostvaluablepodcast.com. That's where you will catch everything from MVP each and every day. Want to thank you for watching on YouTube. Want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast on podcast services around the world. But as always, have a good day, everybody.